he said, with hindsight, it would have been better to take more formal action. He went on to say this issue, since it's been reported in the newspaper, has had more than 500 complaints made to the BBC. He said the conclusion of the deliberation at the BBC is that we accept that the way the speech was edited did give the impression of a direct call for violence. The BBC would like to apologise for that error of judgment. They also spoke about in this letter some of the other points raised by Mr Prescott, who of course gave this 19-page memo to BBC bosses back earlier this year when he was an external advisor to the editorial standards board. And
Joining me now is filmmaker and commentator Ami Horowitz. Ami, more on the BBC scandal that has seen the resignation of the BBC's Director General Tim Davie and Head of News Deborah Turness after the taxpayer-funded broadcaster aired deliberately and dishonestly doctored footage of Donald Trump's January 6th speech. But despite the BBC's history of institutional bias, the British left is circling the wagons as Donald Trump demands accountability. Let's hear from Tim Davie.
We have to be very clear and stand up for our journalism. We are a unique and precious organisation. And I see the free press, I see the weapon under pressure, I see the weaponisation. I think we've got to fight for our journalism. I'm really proud of our work, and the amazing work locally, globally that we're doing is utterly precious.
Unique and precious, really. Let's hear from Liberal Democrat MP Munira Wilson, who is terrified by the prospect of what she calls the Trumpification of our politics and media. Get ready to lose some brain cells.
When Donald Trump got involved and called the BBC corrupt, that we've had these two resignations overnight, and we've now had his press secretary claiming this as a victory for Trump. Now, the BBC belongs to Britain, and I think we should all be concerned whether it's foreign powers or indeed domestic powers, and we know that there are the likes of Farage and Reform who would love to see the BBC destroyed. That really worries me, because we cannot see the Trumpification of our politics and our media landscape. We've seen what that's done in America. So this is a moment for the BBC to reset and restore trust.
Ami, they really are terrified of any sort of accountability. Let's not forget the BBC is taxpayer funded. Brits are obliged to pay for this leftist activist machine.
Yeah, what a grift. They pay $20 a month for the BBC. That's more than Netflix. Okay, I don't know what that comes out to in Australian dollars, like $1,000. I can't do the math in my head. But very interestingly,
not quite.
Okay, but very interestingly, if you're blind, you get a 50% discount. I'm not joking. And if you have a black and white television, you get a 66% discount. So go figure. There are deals to be had at the BBC. Oh, God. Look, the truth is I learned so much from the BBC. For example, did you know that male breast milk is just as nutritious as female breast milk? I bet you didn't know that, yes, because they have so much invested in men being women. They did a story on how if you pump a man with enough hormones, he will secrete milk. Oh God, I want to poke my mind's eye out. My God, I'm sorry, I couldn't finish that. No, they're the worst. They're the absolute worst. And it's always so funny to me when my liberal friends here, they always go, oh, American news is such BS, CNN and Fox News, such garbage. I listen to the BBC. Oh my God, the effect reaction, it's so gross. No, the BBC is awful. Let's not forget that during the Gaza conflict, they did a documentary on Gaza, and the narrator of this documentary was the son of a Hamas minister. Look, they're awful, obviously, and there's no wonder that GB News, which is the center-right, the right outlet there, is eating their lunch. They are now, for 4 months in a row, the #1 news channel in England. It's no wonder. They failed all across the board.
While we're on Trump and third-rate conspiracy theories for that matter, let me update you on the controversy at the BBC and our ABC when it comes to their malicious editing of US President Donald Trump's speech back on the day of the Capitol Hill riot in 2021. Overnight, the president has confirmed that he's pressing ahead with legal action against the BBC because he says he can't just allow these deceptions to go unchallenged. And he hinted that the dishonest reporting by a government-owned broadcaster impacted on the relationship.
This is our supposedly great ally, BBC. The government has a chunk of that one, I guess, but that's a pretty sad event. They actually changed my January 6th speech, which was a beautiful speech, which was a very calming speech, and they made it sound radical.
Now, that's a problem for the BBC, but it's also pretty worrying for the ABC because, as I revealed on Monday, they committed the very same journalistic sin as the BBC, taking a similar clip of Trump's speech, editing out what the president said he wanted the crowds to do at the Capitol, and instead cutting to words that could be interpreted as encouraging violence.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down. Anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Well, as you know, the ABC Managing Director Hugh Marks says this was all fine. In fact, he's hailed it as outstanding journalism. And the ABC hasn't commented on another Four Corners use of that same speech.
Refusing to accept his defeat at the hands of Joe Biden, Trump told his supporters to march on the US Capitol.
We fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
And the ABC must be worried that the White House might notice these examples too and take up legal action like they have against the BBC. We will see. They might get lucky. But I noticed overnight that our friend and colleague Miranda Devine retweeted my story to her almost 1 million followers. And she noted that the ABC is every bit as bad as the BBC. Now, given Miranda writes for the New York Post, she hosts a major podcast for them as well and interviews Trump and JD Vance and a range of other serious players, there's just a chance that someone in Washington might notice.